Welcome back to Gaijin Hideout. I'm your host, Jeff. With me, as always, is Jesse.
Yes, welcome.
And today we are reacting to Metaphor ReFantazio, which is
a mouthful.
Is a mouthful. Sounds a little unfamiliar, but it's actually more familiar than you might think. It is from the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5. So it apparently is a new, like a new game, new concept from them. So a little bit about us. We're pretty big on JRPGs over here at Gaijin Hideout.
If you couldn't tell from the name.
If you couldn't tell, we've streamed a few. We play a lot of Pokemon, Nintendo games as well, but personally, we've also played a lot of like denser JRPGs like Persona games as well. So I've played Persona 5. That's actually the only one I've played all the way through. And Jesse, I think you haven't played 5, but you played what? 3 and 4?
I played 3 and 4, and I have to say 3 is my absolute all-time favorite.
Okay. And I've played only 5, so that one's my favorite, but it is like, that one blew my socks off. I loved that game. That's why I was like, we absolutely have
they're
to.
solid games, man.
We have to like get back, we have to, play more. So comment down below, tell us what your favorite Persona game is and why. I'd love to know. And yeah, so today, in terms of Metaphor ReFantazio, we're going to watch this trailer and then apparently a interview with what looks like the director dropped. It's the creator's voice interview featuring director Katsura Hashino and the character designer.
Butchered that name.
I'm not even going to pronounce the other ones, but just for reference, like this director, like this guy's worked on like every major like Atlas game. It looks like, Persona 5, 4, 3, Shin Megami Tensei. So just in case we're confused about what's going on, we're going to like watch that as well to get the full context. So, but without further ado, let's check out the trailer for Metaphor ReFantazio.
It's a story.
Is it Marth? Is that Marth from Smash
What?
Bros?
Wait a minute.
Wait a
It's
minute.
been 3 seconds.
Wait a minute. Everyone thumbs down the video.
A story about a world very different from ours.
'Tis a world where all people are equal and no conflict
Lay
exists.
generic
Like
fantasy
world-
land.
Okay.
Oh.
I guess so.
To put it another way, this is a fantasy.
Jesse, you called it. I guess Persona's not a fantasy RPG, like obviously, but
I mean, it's set in a high school, I guess.
yeah. So this is
This is a fantasy.
is this them? This is them going into the fantasy world then?
Yeah, they're like delving into a storybook.
The fool of a king is dead.
Without an heir to wear the crown, what will become
Oh.
of
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Yeah, this looks interesting. Open world stuff here.
The king is dead.
Yeah, let's
heir
look
to
at
wear
that.
the crown? What will become?
So from what I understand, there's been several
Huh.
Persona spin-offs. Like, I think there's a Persona 4 spin-off, or actually, it's 4 or 5. That was an action RPG.
That's a
There's been a tactical RPG.
big map.
That is a big map.
I'm really curious, like, what they're drawing from. I mean, because this goes on a long ways, it looks like.
The border was raised by a human mere days ago. You can only
Well, you can definitely see the distinct, like, stylized.
Yeah, it's got that Persona 5 thing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the games have had that kind of style, but I feel like Persona 5, it really came to fruition,
Yeah, I mean that game's got plenty of substance, but it has got as much, if not more, style. Like it is. It is.
blame your king's weakness.
Beautiful
Who
looking
deserves
game.
his crown?
Look at
a man
this.
of proven strength. The people
Is it a
hold
con-
on,
is it
what's
a
going
con-
on with the battle system? Because it looked like it wasn't turn-based a second ago.
Well, this looks like how
No.
Persona 5 kind of went.
Right. What do we have here? Wield arms, call power, yield turn.
So it's turn based.
So we're taking
to a
turns
degree.
and raise defenses. So,
But just what was
wait,
going
okay,
on right here.
raised by a human mere days ago. You can only
But that looks like action.
Okay, so it looks like you. Yeah, it looks like it starts off action and then it goes into the.
Oh, so can you
Right?
like get the? I think you can. Let's back this up.
Yeah, you can like get the jump on them.
I think you can get the jump on them until they initiate a battle. Is what it looks
Without an
like.
heir to wear the crown, what will become of the
Okay.
royal magic?
The fortress at the border was raised by a human mere days ago. You can only blame your king's weakness.
Okay.
Who deserves his crown? A man of proven strength.
I love the enemy design, man. What even was that?
Oh, it's just just your typical giant dinosaur stuck in his egg.
Giant
Jesse.
chicken and egg monster thing.
Yeah, which came first? Oh my God, that looks horrifying.
They both
actually.
came at the same time.
Oh my
You
God.
can only blame your king's weakness. Who deserves his crown?
Oh my
A man
goodness.
Of proven strength.
The people of my land desire a new king.
Oh, what was that? What was that? Wait a minute.
It's the moon from Majora's Mask, Jeff.
Is it?
A man of proven strength.
The people of my land
Let me see.
desire a new
This is such a dense fucking trailer.
There's so much going on. They're drawing from several. If you're gonna like draw influence from several different things, that is the ideal way to do it.
Drawing from my
If you're-
worst nightmares
r-
presently.
Rather, I should say, if you're doing new things, you should draw inspiration from several different sources, because then you'll create something that's like especially fresh.
Welcome one and all to the inauguration of.
Oh my God. What are these characters,
really,
dude?
really crazy looking. So we've got elf looking dudes. That guy's got horns. Not sure what's up with him.
What the?
Oh my God, these are like rave elves, Jeff.
It's like Elf Aerosmith or something. Who is that?
I don't know. That's your cute partner for the game. You always have one.
No, this one. Well,
That's what I mean, yeah.
oh my God. Okay, well, you saw it. You saw it for a frame or something. That one. Look at that.
Oh, that one.
What is that? Does she have horns made out of hair? Or is that horns just they're a little
I
shiny?
guess those are horns. I don't. Are we sure that's a she?
We're not actually sure that's
I don't
she.
know.
I'm not trusting that.
Jeff.
I like the cute mouse guy.
I wonder when any among the populace might be king.
What the fuck? Wait, what is that?
Are we? Wait, what?
All right, but what year is this in? That's what I'm confused
the
about.
years.
It's every
All the
year.
years.
It's the
Whatever
past
year we
and
want
the
it to be.
future.
Got like a little pixie partner.
Does this count as
see that?
steampunk? Is that what this is? Magitech steampunk?
Magitech punk. I don't know. Doesn't really look like
Might be
steampunk.
king.
Speeches of tribal harmony mean nothing.
Oh
When every
no,
day
I
they
take it back,
cheat
Jeff.
and-
Steampunk. You're right.
I think it's steampunk, right? It's not exactly steampunk, but
Yeah.
Harmony mean nothing. When every day they cheat and abuse us.
Oh, that accent.
okay, it might be. What was that? Wait a minute. What is?
There's so much happening.
Oh man, Jesse, do you remember that anime that you put me onto when we were really young?
Abuse us.
That steampunk one called Last Exile.
I love that anime. It's great.
I love it too. I kind of
Abuse us.
Reminds you of that? Yeah.
a little bit, just a little bit. It's been a long time, but just a little bit.
It tells of a world united as one tribe.
If only our lives were anything like that.
Whoa! Are you just going around on a man? They
What?
really know how to pack a
A
trailer.
land
full of
ship? What is
stuff.
this?
Yeah, it is a land ship.
What is happening, Jeff?
I don't know.
So much like insane creativity.
I feel like I'm in like Alice in Wonderland, but like the steampunk edition. Like steampunk anime, like the JRPG Alice in Wonderland. That's what I
The
feel like. right now.
JRPG Alice in Wonderland. That's funny.
Our
An
lives
angel
are
just
that
hanging
Okay, so
out.
you can cook. Where'd you see an angel? What? Oh my god!
The little girl. She has angel wings.
I didn't even process that. Oh my
There's
god!
so much happening, Jeff. I don't blame you.
Our lives are decided at
All right, we can cook.
All right, you're gonna love this game. You get to cook with your BFF.
Yeah, big Final Fantasy 15 guy here. Love cooking with the bros.
by the differences that make us
Okay.
The character designs are like super stylized. That chick who's just on the screen, like she was like, do you see that? Her design is so interesting.
This one?
Yeah,
yeah,
look
look
at like sleek. Yeah, it's like not a human figure there. I mean, it's human, but it's like really super stylized.
And then she's
It's
got
so-
like a retro dress or something, almost a retro dress.
I don't know. We're mixing a lot here.
Tell us like what the design inspiration for this stuff is.
Tell
And
us what the fuck is happening.
in the comments.
the differences that make us
Educate us, please. Oh, okay. What was that? Was that a Titan?
Just Attack on Titan. Yeah.
Was that?
Just Aaron Yeager. He's back.
Okay, well, wait a minute.
We put everything in the game, Joe.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell?
That's just the Titan, Joe.
You gave up on your hopes, but I will not.
Now let's see what manner of story you'll weave.
Wait, was that friendship? Was that like is that
Is that
illusion?
friendship?
No, what, I mean like the bonds, not like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It's just going by so fast. What is that? Wait, what's going on up over here in the right corner? What is this? How is that? Were those on his head?
Oh, you're right. I just saw that. It's like people there. What is happening?
On his head? I'm having a panic attack.
You got to figure out what the button for up a frame, down a frame is.
Oh, I do, but it's I don't even. I can do that.
I think it's period and comma.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not that responsive for me.
Okay, just don't worry about it.
But I will not.
I normally don't have to say that, but Jesus, so much happening. Yeah, I think that's like a social link thing. New Bond, yeah, you got that.
Oh yeah, nice, good catch. Yeah, new Bond. Okay.
Let's do it. You'll be a hero. Trust me.
What? Oh.
Wait a minute, I didn't even process that. Was that Code Geass?
Like
Code Geass?
I don't know, man. Looked like Gaunt's for a second.
Let's do it. You'll be a hero.
What?
Trust me.
Oh
Is
my
like turning
god.
into his persona, or is that just the persona?
Are there personas like Mech Warriors? Metaphor,
man.
ReFantazio.
Okay, wow.
Fall 2020. They're hitting us with all this in fall. I like that it's like an Xbox exclusive because that means we get it on Windows.
Why
For
do I
sure.
feel like I didn't even watch the trailer, Jeff? You know what I mean? Like I saw the trailer and I absorbed literally nothing.
Okay, so like what I'm getting is that there is elements of Persona and Shin Megami Tensei in the game, insofar as it's turn-based and some of the styles and stuff, but then it is like just a kaleidoscope of different influences from other JRPGs, other anime, dare I say, other, just anything to do with like fantasy and adventure. Because I mean, I saw stuff that looked like Attack on Titan. I saw stuff that looked like, steampunk stuff, steampunk, Magitech. We saw
literally
a
everything
mech.
in the game.
We saw a mech. I'm wondering if it's like, is this a past, present, future thing? Are there timelines involved, or is it just totally?
I don't know. We know there's some kind of calendar element because we saw way too many dates. So I think they're bringing that over.
So at first glance, because we did see this in passing at the Game Awards while we were watching the Game Awards together.
We were stroking out watching that abomination.
We were stroking out from how bad the Game Awards were that we weren't really processing.
it glazed.
Yeah, we weren't really processing the trailers we were watching. And I remember just seeing this and like at first glance, if you're zoning out, it kind of feels like, okay, it's like Persona, but they're trying to do a fantasy
It's a
thing.
hodgepodge of literally everything. Yeah.
No, it didn't. Like, it just seemed like it was Persona slapped together with fantasy. But now it's like, it seems like there's literally, there's like so many different elements in it that I'm more interested. I'm more interested than like what I thought it was going to be. It's either,
it does look.
It's either going to be awesome and blow your mind,
or a total fucking mess. Yeah.
or a total mess. Yeah. It's kind of like, and I'm open to it. I'll say this: I'm open to it. Just like how I was open to, sometimes there's like an anime that'll pull this off, but people end up being split on it anyway. I personally was open to something like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is like, has nothing to do with JRPGs, but it is like the shonen, it's like the shonen anime equivalent of what I'm seeing here, which is like, they took everything from like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z and everything, and they just like found all the best like adrenaline pumping parts and tried to put them all together into a show that like was awesome. And it was just pure awesome. And it wasn't like, oh, this is a good anime. It's like, oh, this is just awesome. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Is like, you know, because what did we start? We started out with Fire Emblem. We were like, is this Fire Emblem? Is this Tales?
It's a lot. It's hard to nail down. There's like so much. I'm not sure what this game's voice is, so to speak. You know.
Yeah. Well, thankfully.
So that's my worry, is that it's like it's not going to find. I'm not going to get like a clear image, a clear voice, whatever comparison you want to use midst playing this. But hey, all their other games are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So that leaves me hopeful. I'm not sure. I'm intrigued, but I'm not like super sucked in quite yet. You know, like I haven't seen that one thing that's like, oh, I gotta play this. It's a lot of stuff I like from a lot of other games, and I am curiously observant at this point, I'll say.
Yeah, I was like skeptical just from the elements I'd seen prior to this, but after seeing this, I am more curious, kind of more excited. It like looks a lot cooler than
it does, yeah,
at first glance. But it's because that trailer's so packed full of stuff. Okay, so like
it's hard to absorb, yeah.
All right, so in light of that,
here.
Oh, look at this concept artist, notable Kota Kazuma, notable work near Automata. Okay.
Oh,
we got some heavy hitters on this. So we loved Nier Automata. So on that note, since we're so confused, I think it was a good idea that I queued up this interview.
I'm glad they released this explaining what the hell's going on.
I think they knew they needed to explain themselves a little bit. So this is Metaphor
please.
ReFantazio creator's voice. Descended to the minds of Metaphor ReFantazio with the creator's voice interview featuring director, character designer, and composer. Madness. I'm not saying their names. I'm not going to butcher the Japanese for you guys. So let's look at that, and we'll probably just let them play a little bit, let it play a bit, and then talk. You know, we'll pause it a little less. So sit my ass down and listen. A game developer's
That's right, bitch.
talking.
Into the corner with you.
Strategy is also left up to the player. Everywhere you go, developments change.
I'd say it's less like you are controlling yourself, but rather that you are a character in this world. I want to entice players with the melody in the battles.
The protagonist gets involved in this election race, and as the story
Oh, it's an
unfolds,
election?
he embarks on a journey to travel around the country and gather support. When I look back and see what is being created,
that what he
he
said?
embarks on a journey to
Election
travel
race.
around
Yeah,
the country
an election
and
race.
gather support.
Just
When
in
I look
time for
back and see
2024.
Oh my gosh, it's a 2024 election game. What? Oh boy. Are we doing
no.
Oh man. That's so funny.
Oh no.
Being created now.
I know. I wonder who we get to vote for. Oh
It
boy.
is quite a grand game.
Well, that's why they're
It's a
waiting so long
story
to
that-
release the game.
I guess so. All right, let's sit our gamer asses down and listen.
Now, I realize it is quite a grand game.
Should I bump up the volume a little?
Well, it's a story that has several twists and leaves you wondering.
I can't
what
really tell on
happens next.
Discord because I
The
adjust
game
it.
is also really fun, and I feel that it's shaping up to be a very rewarding experience.
Okay, a little general. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's just the intro.
The voice they've got going with these guys is not helping. It sounds like disinterested AI or something.
Yeah. I might bump it up just a smidge.
Even though it's a world where magic exists, people can't use it without help. In this world, you have to purchase a special
Okay.
piece of equipment to be capable of magic.
Capitalism is alive and well in my fantasy world. Pay
Magic
to
is a
play,
kind of
bitches.
power that is supposed to spring from a person's imagination, but that
Oh.
art has been lost over time.
Oh.
Now, magic
Just-
has
just like
more
real life, Jeff.
restrictions. In other words, people have become reliant on the world's magic.
Look at this guy, by the way. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is new. What is this? I'm
The
going to turn
most commonly said phrase.
I'm going to turn the subtitles off so I can just focus on this. Oh my god.
Magic has more restrictions. In other words, people
Are they
have
selling
become
it
reliant on the
as
world's
machines?
magical
Like-
tools.
Oh yeah, they've become more reliant on the world's magical tools. This is a magical tool, I guess.
That said,
I
the main
guess so.
characters are able to transform their own bodies into weapons,
What?
which we call
Oh, so he's
archetypes.
turning into that thing. All right, yeah.
Oh,
So that's what I was thinking earlier.
Might have to
their
turn this
own
back on.
bodies into weapons, which we call archetypes.
Archetypes.
Okay.
People are born with various heroic
Not
aspects,
aeons, archetypes.
but these embodiments are typically never awakened. And when they are, it's not as though it was predetermined. An awakening happens by interacting with others and being
I
inspired
gotcha. You
by
got to
their
do the
actions.
social link stuff.
Okay, so it's they have. Okay, so first of all, the setting can be a bit more explained by the fact that it's not really steampunk. It's like it is Magitech punk, basically.
Magitech steampunk, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Magitech steampunk. So most people don't have powers. The powers are in these magical tools now that are distributed. But our characters, for plot reasons, have the ability to transform themselves into these giant tools or whatever, these archetypes, and they're awakened through like creating a bond with other people.
For example, you might think to yourself that someone acts very much like a knight, or another person might seem like a true warrior. By making this connection, the archetype of the warrior,
What's her name,
which has been
Maria?
dormant within you
The angel
since
chick?
birth,
Let me check.
Take it back. Let me read that again.
another person might seem like a true warrior. By
Did it
making
say
this
it, or-
connection, the archetype
Maria,
of the
yeah.
warrior, which has been dormant within you since
Yeah, it's
birth, is
katakana.
awakened. That's how the system works.
Oh, so other people's personalities awaken the archetype in you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The game is set in a kingdom, but the kingdom
That's really clever. I noticed like Persona, at least Persona 5 was very clever with like psychological like analogies or metaphors, I guess. And it's pretty good, right? That's like how it is when you like have a bond with people, by the way, is like when you are friends with someone in real life. For those of you who don't know. For those of you that don't have friends.
Yeah, for those of you who never leave your home, yeah.
Yeah, when you become good friends with someone, they rub off on you, but it's more like they just like a version of themselves like awakens inside of you and like kind of infuses into your personality a bit. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That
It's a metaphor, Jeff.
it's a metaphor. I see.
has been killed. The king who is killed in the process gives way to the person who will gain popularity among the people as the next king.
Let's just bribe them. Free money.
In modern terms, you'd call this an election. This is where the story starts, as this sort of election is cast on the world in the form of magic. The goal of becoming king is a classical one, but the road to that goal is full of ups and downs. And I think one of the things
Is it because everyone has magic now? Like they've been given the magic tools, so it's kind of like you have to unite all the magic, the people with the magic behind you, and it's kind of like
I'm
an
not
election.
sure. I mean,
It
that
sounds
could be the case.
more like a coup. If we're being
It's a
honest.
magical coup, Joe.
It's a magical coup, but you know, election's a sly way to slip that in there, I guess.
to look forward to is the mystery of how it unfolds.
Okay.
Under this election magic, anyone can become king if he or she
Election
becomes
magic,
the most
okay.
popular.
The most popular.
Oh, this is okay. Wait a minute. This is kind of a stretch. This is kind of a stretch. They're trying to, man. They're really trying to. We'll have to see if this works because it's basically they're trying to get the social system into the fantasy world and justify it, right?
I guess, yeah.
And I think one of the things to look forward to is the mystery.
I can't tell if he's saying it as a metaphor, no pun intended. Like I literally can't tell if he's saying election magic metaphorically speaking, or if he's just trying to, like, if they've created something so brand new mechanics-wise that they don't have a way to describe it yet. You know what I mean?
just want to know if I can magically stuff those ballots, Jeff. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
of how it unfolds.
I want to know if I can use necromancy to get my dead grandma to vote for me.
my granddad to vote. Every one of my ancestors will vote in this election.
Oh my gosh, the main character's entire bloodline for the last 2,000 years cast their votes and he won in a landslide. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Under this election magic, anyone can become king if he or she becomes the most popular. There will be people who make outrageous promises to gain popularity, and some pretty
it's just like
interesting
real life.
battles and turmoil unfold.
I hope we get arrested and we like take a sick like Magitech mugshot and it backfires because it makes us more popular, you know.
I want to do a little magic insider trading, Jeff. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, all right, yeah, you're kind of doing. I see what you're up to. Some guild trading. What would they call that? Stock market magic.
The starting point of the story
This kind of reminds me of Valkyria Chronicles a little.
is that
Oh,
any
yeah.
person can become king
Love that game,
if
by the
he or
way.
she becomes the most popular. After that, many things can happen. Those currently in power frame the election as a competition so they can display their own power, hoping to maintain the control they currently have.
They frame it as a frame the election as a competition.
Their
Okay.
own power, hoping to maintain the control they currently have. The
Okay.
protagonist gets involved in this election race, and as the story unfolds,
You look like
he
we're a
embarks on a
refugee or
journey to
something.
travel around the country
Yeah.
and gather support.
Oh, that is crazy looking.
We're
Jeez.
combining this
Oh my God! It's got legs, Jesse. It's a
Yeah, I did not expect that when the camera panned around.
It's an
Jeff.
anthropomorphic land ship.
It's yeah. It's
A land
it's
ship
got
with legs.
aspect with the element of travel, which is a critical element in a fantasy. In our own unique Atlas approach, we are trying to combine a very grounded and realistic travel experience with a more serious and mysterious main story for players to enjoy.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
Previously, with the Persona series,
okay. Sorry, real quick before they go into this. So it'll be kind of interesting how they execute that because it seems like it could cut either way. Like I think sometimes like the man of the people, unite all the people and you get the magic and you take over. Like I think that's a little detached from reality. I think a lot of us don't buy into that sort of a fantasy anymore, that it's like organic grassroots stuff. You know, and that's how you become popular and you win, and that's how the world works.
I can't
But
wait
he
for the
said-
memes that are gonna come out of this game right around election here.
Yeah,
It's gonna be so good.
He did say it's grounded in reality, and some of the stuff he said about like, oh, the people with power, they frame the election like a competition so they can exert their power. It's like that's a bit
Yeah.
closer to how like power I think works in real life. You know, like it's more like people are benefiting from the event. People with who already have power are benefiting from the event, from the election itself. It's not really like you use the power of the people to take everything over. So I'm curious to see how those two, you know, because clearly he's going around doing the grassroots thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering,
Yeah, how
do we
deep are they gonna get?
Do we get like a magical, is there like a magical billionaire backer that we potentially get to choose or something like
Oh,
that?
no.
Because that's
We're going off the
that's usually how these elections, these coups, elections like actually work. Is, you know, do we have like 5 or 6 different magical billionaires we get to woo to choose from, and they give us like their billions of magic, you know?
They're actually quadzillionaires, Jeff. They hyperinflated their currency a long time ago.
I think you would have to do that to make those kind of magic mechs that they've got, you know, or the boat with legs. You know?
Serious main story for players to enjoy. Previously, with the Persona series, we created stories about daily school life, continuing through the first and the second semester of a school year.
Yep.
School life is a bit like a journey in that sense.
Yeah,
In
because
the
you
first semester,
had final exams and stuff.
students are divided into separate classes and basically spend the rest of the school year in the
that's
same
like a-
class. Well,
Yeah.
not exactly once in a lifetime. There are these encounters that take
All right,
place
so it
within
looks
a
like we're going to
defined
spend most of our
period
time on this ship,
before
which
everyone
looks
parts.
fucking awesome, by the way, as it's walking around. You see that?
Yeah, it's
Doesn't that look badass?
it does. It looks insane.
So this is going to be kind of our
Students
Ebon
are
Hawk,
divided
our
into
hub.
separate classes.
Yeah.
and basic.
Our car from Final Fantasy 15.
Oh God,
Way cooler than a car.
They spend the rest of the school year in the same class. Well, not exactly.
So this is our new
once
classroom,
in a
in
lifetime.
other words.
There are these
Basically.
encounters that take place within a defined period
cool.
of
Man, look
time
how
before
nice that looks.
everyone parts ways. I think that school life is kind of like a microcosm of the flow of life from beginning to end.
Jeez.
Well,
Okay,
that's
that's kind of
dark.
deep. Damn. Well, I mean, that would make a lot of sense because school's like the most depressing time period for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Just all the
basically.
man. That's why like life works because it's like on a long enough time frame that you can savor the good moments in between all the bullshit. You know, it's
The
not
mostly bullshit.
It's not drowned out, but a school semester that's just there's a few good times, but they're drowned out in just like a barrage of immediate bad things all the time.
Bullying, swirlies, getting shoved into your locker for 6 hours straight. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Journeys also have a beginning and an end. You meet and say goodbye to many people along the way.
Yeah.
Travel is a common concept in games. And most of the time, you can travel as much as you like without any time constraints. But just like in our own modern lives, the time allotted for travel within the world of metaphor is limited. Maybe
Okay.
you could travel for just a week or 2 weeks.
I am increasingly
have-
intrigued, Jeff, I have to say.
I'm very interested in how not vaguely, but like how metaphorically. I don't have another word. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do the pun. I don't how metaphorically how much he's making analogies. How many analogies he's making?
Just a comparison, yeah.
Because how many comparisons? Yeah. Because it feels like that's something that I mean, these are all very esteemed developers, so that I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt in that sense and saying that feels like something that you would say when you're describing something very fresh and new that people are just supposed to kind of feel when they play the game, which is a good sign. Because my concern with a game like this is that it's like, okay, here's the Persona 5 gameplay loops. Oh, here's this other inspiration gameplay loops. Here's this other and it's just like, you know, it's all kind of clunkily put in there. But he's like speaking like he's trying to relate it to he's relating it to the Persona stuff, but then he's like, but this is really, it's more like about, you know, it's more this way. He's speaking very like generally. And that could either mean it's like really, again, it could mean it's really good or really bad. I know that's a little lukewarm position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be the Starfield of Atlas. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to do this type of game, and so they did it, and it just fucking failed because they did it in the worst way humanly possible, and they lazily tried to stamp their formula onto it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting that at all.
Yeah.
With this game, but I'm still not sure how it's gonna translate. Necessarily, you know, I am intrigued though. The more he talks about this and explains it,
Yeah.
days.
I kind of appreciate it because as I went into Persona 5 blind, and there's things I could see him talking about Persona 5 like this too. You know, like there's things in the Persona 5 where it's like you could just like draw comparisons to stuff like nonstop. So that's, you know, I'm just going off of what I know. That's a good sign as well. He's speaking in the same way that I would like speak about that game, which I really liked. It felt really dense and kind of deep. So
Framing this election as a travel experience, something weeks, or you might have only 3 days. By framing this election as a travel experience, something we've experienced in modern
I'm not
times,
sure if I'm sold on the magical election thing. That's not a super off the bat. That's not a super intriguing premise to me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think as an American, we're just bitterly over the concept of elections in general. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm aren't we gonna find out it's rigged in the end or something?
is that how it works? Like
kinda
everyone
where we're
loses, none of the promises are kept.
Yeah, you know, we either die a hero or live long enough to see ourselves become the villain, you know, once we get into office. I don't know. Well,
it could be very interesting.
It is to become a king, though. I think I'm hoping he's just equating it as to Westerners as like, oh, it's like an election, like how you vote. But it's really like they said a king died,
popularity contest.
like a king died, and every kingdom is a popularity contest at its core. Like you can't.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
You can't. A king that doesn't have the support of the people will just get killed. You know, it's very. How would you say it? That's how like those older systems worked. You needed to have.
Right.
You technically needed to have some kind of
We're gonna pull
democratic support.
Our head lopped off.
Yeah. It's very hard. It's very hard for like a minority to like rule the majority without consent, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping
To a
it's
certain
more.
degree.
I'm hoping it's more like that because that's more interesting. Because we don't live in a kingdom, so I kind of would want to like be like, oh,
Well, we don't officially live in a kingdom.
not yet, not yet.
Those in the running are faced with the need to travel around the country within a set amount of time. In order to turn the people you meet across the world into supporters, you have to fight a variety of battles. Basically, the idea is to follow the main storyline and enjoy how it leaves you wondering what could happen next. But in terms of the time you have between those major events, the strategy you make and the order you do things in is all left up to the player.
Okay.
I guess it puts you in a situation where you're
Okay,
playing
yeah, I like
and you're
that.
not sure what the correct answer is, but in a good way. When you've got this dungeon that you absolutely have to clear, for example, do you
Okay.
head straight there to get it done?
Oh, because
Yes, I mean they've had that
time
in the
limit.
previous,
Oh.
right? Like in the previous Persona games, like 4 sticks out in my mind a lot for this. You know, you had to. Sorry, guys, spoilers. You had to save people before their time ran out. Basically, I mean, is that what we're saying here? We've got like a certain amount of time gating.
Yes, but I think instead of it being so cyclical, like how those were, because it was on a school calendar, I think he's saying it's like a linear journey, and there's different legs. You know, your time boxed in terms of like travel time, and you're just like the immediate thing that you need to address is only like revealed to you like as you progress down. So you have to like make the decisions in the moment. Whereas I think like
that is super.
For
the time budgeting that you have to do is super interesting to me. I've always loved that in games. Like the first Pikmin is probably my favorite just for that reason, because you're on this super strict, you got 30 days or die time limit.
I would actually like appreciate if that's the case in this one, because for me, for Persona 5, maybe it's just because I was like a new to Persona or something, but honestly, I don't think so. I think the thing that like dragged the most and that I like stopped caring about the fastest was the passing of time and like the bonds. Eventually I got to a point where it's like after I had my first like romantic interaction and then like a friendship or something like that, and like progressed those pretty far, I was kind of like done. And I was just like, all right, let's just speed it through. I don't really care. I'm just going to do stuff that boost my stats, and it was the same thing. It was very repetitive. So if they're saying it's like more linear and not repetitive, and you still have the time constraint, and you just have to decide in the moment, like, oh shoot, how do I spend my time? That's probably like a healthy game to play, because that's kind of just how I got to live my life, you know? Like,
well, also, I mean, it just seems a lot more intriguing because, like, we're not just dealing with like a school schedule kind of deal. Like, oh, there's clubs, and oh, you can go to the mall, and blah blah blah. Talk to your friends. You got a whole fantasy world here, you know. So there's a lot more they can do in terms of creativity and content.
Yeah.
Over just a typical Persona game.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see.
Or because this dungeon looks difficult, do you make all kinds of plans to, for example, do this other quest over here first and do some leveling up and then go there?
Grinding, yes.
I don't know how to describe it, but you can make judgment calls as you play, where you'll consider the difficulty of each quest or the sense of danger you feel, and you'll feel a sense of accomplishment for having completed a quest based on those assessments. I think one of
Now, the question, maybe he's about to say it, but the real question with that is, what happens if you screw it up? Like, do they just like restart you and you get to make the choice again? Or
There's probably checkpoints, you know, like if you pass, like you survive this month, you beat this month's dungeon, like the game knows you're in a okay state, you know.
Yeah.
You can always revert to some fallback from a week ago, a month ago, whatever, if you really fuck it up.
They give you like a grind hole, like the underground or the subway area in Persona 5 to just kind of...
Yeah, something like that. Because you could screw yourself pretty badly
I could see this working really well for like optional side, like pseudo optional side quests. So you got to pick and do and stuff like that, and then you fail it, and it's no big deal, you know, that kind of thing. Because it's like, oh, you could have like had this outcome, but you screwed it up because you didn't plan it right, and now we're gonna progress. But that's
okay. Yeah.
But
One of the main
Interesting.
attractions of this game is that it takes the good part of the Persona series to date, which progressed on a schedule, and adapts it in a way that perfectly matches the storyline for this work and the travel system we've created.
that kind of sounds like it's what I'm guessing it is. So
Yeah.
interesting. Travel systems also kind of suck in these games sometimes, like these RPGs that do this. You know, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, travel's pretty boring unless you fill it with content. You know, like you gotta do something.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like there's going to be a lot to do. So that's pretty interesting. Sounds like
Random
there's going to be
encounter-
more than you can conceivably do, and you have to budget your time.
Yeah, and I'm just the more I talk about it, the more intrigued I get. Like just the amount of pure content and creative ability they might have in a world of their own design versus like, oh, we're gonna base it in the real world and got the Persona stuff. But there's just a hard limit to the amount of things you can do. Whereas this, I mean, everyone knows how fucking crazy and creative these people are. I mean, they could do anything, and it looks like they're doing everything. So
Yeah. Especially in like this era where there's like so many open world games, and it's like, oh yeah, just like go wherever. That was
lay generic fantasy. Yeah.
that was cool initially, but like, it's good to put pressure on the player. I think.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
To like, hey, go do stuff, not just whatever you want. Just lose yourself for 200 hours wandering around. It's like, well, I mean, there's some games that do that good, but it's the jury's out on if that's the ideal way to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there is an ideal way. It's what you're in the mood for. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that kind of game. Sometimes I'm not. I mean, I enjoy both.
Sometimes there's been 30 of them released in the last 3 years, and it's like, oh, maybe let's
And
do
we're
something
sick
like
of them,
this.
As for what kind of game we are making this time, as creators involved in Persona, naturally we have included command battles,
How do you even describe
which
this
you
game?
might say is our specialty, or our expertise. I wouldn't exactly call them a waste of time, but often battles with low-level opponents that you already know
Oh,
how
thank
to beat
God.
can at times feel like a hassle. Those parts should be quick and fun.
Oh.
There are other parts that are more deserving of the player's time. It could be a part of the story
Oh,
that
that's
leaves
so
you
nice.
wondering what happens next, or the
So does that mean what is a command battle in this context? I don't remember. Does that mean that like if it's low enough level, that it just turns into
Yeah,
an
that's
action
the vibe
RPG
I'm getting.
and you kill them? That's cool.
Yeah, that's super intriguing.
party customization aspects, or planning your journey as you strengthen your party. We would like players to spend their time on the more interesting aspects.
I think. Look at this. Look, there's a second bar that's decreasing when he starts attacking. Do you see this?
Or planning
Look at
your
this.
journey as you
Let's see
strengthen
if I
your
can get
party.
it right as he. Okay.
We would like players to
First attack. Okay. Well, it went up
spend their time on
and then it dropped down.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, it's going by pretty quickly here. There you go.
Okay, it looks like it went down and up. I actually don't know. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it raised up, and then I started wailing on. So he starts wailing on him. The green is clearly the health bar, or something. Then this goes up. Then it drops down suddenly. But
You lost some health too.
he lost some health, and then right as it goes to 0, it starts the battle. You see that? Like right as the white bar went to the bottom, it starts the battle. So does that mean maybe like these
Yeah,
guys?
take it back a second.
Like if I go to these guys,
exactly
No, they don't
call
have
them
that
a waste
bar.
of time.
oh, they
but
don't have the
often
bar.
battles with low
So maybe this guy. Maybe this has something to do with like if it triggers the battle or something.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
spend their
Maybe.
time on the more interesting aspects like these. In order to achieve this, we decided to adopt a new battle system where we have the command battles as the base, But on top of that, we've incorporated a system where you're able to defeat enemies on the field directly
Oh,
if
there
you
we go.
determine that they are weaker than you.
Okay. Then it just answered my question. That's that. Okay. So let's look at this one real quick.
Cool animation.
Yeah, see, like
Yeah, he
that.
gets it down and then he does
Field
like a
directly
squad
if you
thing.
Determine that they are weaker than you.
Yeah, you see the bar, the white bar drops down before the health bar goes down, basically.
Yeah, just like a team attack, gang up kind of thing.
Well,
It's not
it
a
turns into
separate
the.
two-part
So I think
system
I think the
where
command battle is just turn based. That's what that means for them.
But on top of that, we've incorporated a system
look,
where
if he-
you're able to defeat enemies on the field directly if you determine that
You see that he like as soon as he attacked, this went all the way up. Did you see that?
Yeah.
they are weaker than you.
And then she's hitting him, and it like drops down a few times.
It's not a separate.
And then it starts the battle. So theoretically, if they're way weaker than you, you would be able to kill it in 1 or 2 slashes and not trigger the battle. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So
Two-part system where some enemies can only be fought in command battles, or some must be defeated with
It also
action.
seems like because you got off
Actually-
those attacks, you gotta like a jump start on the guy.
it looks like it.
Let the players judge which enemies are stronger than they
Oh.
are, or which ones they have fought before.
Okay.
We were very particular about letting the player make that determination and giving players the option to choose at all times. This is an all-new system, so I strongly encourage
Super
you to pick it up
intriguing.
and play with it.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm getting kind of excited thinking about that because it's like you don't have to. You can just presumably you could use your judgment and be like, oh, they're not strong enough to do that, and just go straight into the battle or do something else. Maybe get a jump attack on them that triggers the battle or something. But like. That's really cool because then like you don't have to do a random battle with every like weak enemy you bump into, or like a turn-based battle with every weak enemy.
Yeah, I mean that is another kind of like grind in these Persona games is the amount of time you spend fighting just trash.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay.
The main
Here's the real selling point, the characters.
And some people said, isn't it strange that he is traveling wearing white clothes that can get dirty? I designed the protagonist with the idea that I wanted to create a character with a sense of style, prioritizing design. Both
You created Marth with yellow eye, dude. Come on. Let's be real. Come on.
Hey, Marth is very stylish.
He
Jeff.
is stylish.
persona and metaphor don't have a name for the protagonist, meaning they're the player's characters.
Okay.
But the context.
So his name's Jeff, in other words.
Always. Every game has been canonically
But the
Jeff.
context in which I designed the protagonist this time is a bit different.
Okay. What's
When I
different?
draw illustrations,
Gonna take a
there's
nice
an
stroll.
overall impression you get when the protagonist comes to the forefront. How should I put it? I think you can sense more of the character in the eyes than before, going beyond just self-projection.
What?
It's an interesting way to look at that.
Man, they're just really giving us
Wait,
like,
is he riding
riddles.
his sword?
Oh my god, are you
He's riding his fucking sword, Jeff. Take that back.
Oh my god. I didn't know what that was that he was riding.
I didn't know either.
For example,
What the hell? What is happening? Oh my god.
Everything's happening, Jeff.
What is
Everything is in the game.
happening? Oh my god, that's crazy.
does things like riding on a sword, and there's a vehicle called a gauntlet runner.
Since the
What is a
setting
gauntlet runner? Is that Oh my god.
Is that our hub?
Oh, it's got to be. It runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Gauntlet runner.
Since the setting is a new world of fantasy, we needed to borrow some new wisdom and creative energy.
Oh. They're just kind of coming out and saying it, you know. We needed to borrow some new wisdom and creative energy.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll borrow from the best. That's what I say. Steal from the best.
Listen,
whatever.
I'm not opposed to you borrowing from good stuff, okay? Steal Like an Artist. That's a good book. It's basically teaches you how to do what it says.
The original designs of the vehicles, which we call gauntlet runners, were made by Ikuto Yamashita.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my goodness. Wait, are they?
That's cool.
Is that an airplane? No, that's just another ship.
Oh, what the? It looks like a crazy like bug thing almost. Look at that.
Or like a. It looks like the the dinosaur you ride on in the Monster Hunter trailer we just watched.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
By Ikuto Yamashita,
Wow.
famous for his work on Evangelion and other productions.
What?
Oh.
What?
Really?
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Designed by a guy who worked on Evangelion. I don't know a ton about Evangelion. That's crazy. I gotta watch Evangelion. We may have to do Evangelion.
How have you not
reactions.
watched Evangelion, Jeff?
I don't know. That may be our reaction series for 2024.
Jeff's like freaking out. Oh my God, Evangelion! I haven't watched that.
Well, I've watched all the stuff that it's inspired
I get
by
it. You know it's a big deal. All right.
I know it's. I've watched other mech stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it's all the same, right? Who cares? You know.
Apparently not.
We decided to ask Koda Kazuma, who has been very active in works such as Nier Automata, to do the background artwork.
Oh, nice. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. That is crazy.
We talked in depth with
Oh,
the
here's your Majora's Mask from Hell
Yep.
guy.
Obligatory
both
reference
about
there.
the themes of the game, the nature of the work, the story, and various other baselines. And the things they came up with and proposed felt very unexpected.
Yeah.
It was very
They look
thrilling
If that's a
unexpected.
good or a bad thing.
to hear their ideas and interpretations. And piggybacking on this, I feel they provided such power and creativity to the game. I couldn't be more satisfied.
The music.
Oh, the music's gonna be good. It's always good.
Yeah.
I feel
We'll see.
that the diversity.
I didn't hear anything amazing in the trailer, but it's always good or it was great in Persona 5. So,
The guy did 3, 4, and 5. I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
yeah, that's true.
of the music is very extensive and broad in range.
Okay.
The theme was based on religious music.
What?
It also needed
Oh.
to reflect the world
Wow.
view of metaphor.
Okay.
The world of metaphor has many different tribes of people, so their faiths are as varied as they are. I took it upon myself to dig deeper.
So you're telling me we're gonna
and
fight God at the
contemplate
end of this game?
What music?
Again, guys. Again. Come on.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. We find out God
You do
was
that in like every Persona game. 3, I think you fought Death itself. 4, you fought some Japanese god. I forget the name. 5, I'm sure you fought a god in.
5. It was spoilers. 5. It was just literally God. It was just literally God.
It was just God.
It was just literally
Capital
God.
G.
Yeah, you killed God. Basically, that's what it felt like.
in this
damn time,
idea would be like. I think there is a much broader interpretation of the music since they were written in accordance with such
All right,
a theme.
here's my plot prediction. We're gonna get
It's
elected king, and then we're gonna fight God, and then we're gonna destroy the whole king magic spell thing, and everyone's free to live their life. The end.
I hope not. That's so lame. That's so played out. The first time I encountered that plot in a JRPG, it was in Chaos Rings, the turn-based, like 3D, kind of like cool-looking RPG that Square Enix made for the iPhone for like $15. That was the first. Can we stop, guys? I'm sure that was already after Persona 3 had come out. Can we just... let's get a little more depth into it, okay?
not often that we've done such.
I mean, I thought he was dead already. Nietzsche said he was dead already, but you guys are, I don't know, you guys are making me question. Maybe he's alive.
With such a theme.
Maybe Nietzsche's a liar,
It's
Jeff.
not often that we've done such large-scale live
He's
recordings.
hiding a lot of secrets under that mustache of his,
Often that we've done such large-scale live recordings of the music at Atlas. So I feel that the sound is very elaborate in that regard.
They
We are
gave
taking-
they gave the English translation for this guy the most British voice. That's how you know he's the composer. It's like Mozart.
a different approach than with Persona.
Okay. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's not just going to be like some jazzy, oh yeah, we're going on a fantasy trip or whatever. It's going to be like,
Maybe it'll be that, but just fantasy, Jeff. We don't know.
yeah, with a little bit of chorus in the background. No, if
It's just monks rapping.
if it's based on religious music, I'm expecting like a lot of choral elements and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
of
So that'd be
course.
interesting. To RPG fans around the world. Hey, that's us. That's us. Gaijin Hideout.
Oh,
We're RPG fans around the world.
that is true in every sense of the word.
Naturally, the game has a lot of battles, character growth, party customization, and the everyday aspects of travel. We designed it with the intention that the player can enjoy these various elements while always keeping pacing in mind. As the work nears completion, I think it has a great deal of those elements in a very condensed form. The way it's turning out, I don't feel like there's anything quite like it out there. I wanted to bring
I'll say,
Metaphor
Jesus.
ReFantazio to RPG fans around the world. I can't talk specifics yet, but I would like to bring a demo of the game to events in countries around the world, so you can
Okay.
play through it for
I'd be
yourself.
very curious to see a demo.
Yeah.
So
I would play
look
that.
forward to meeting you, and I hope you will continue to support us.
Okay. Wow.
I'm extremely intrigued, Jeff.
Yeah, that look at this thing in the background. You know, I mean the artwork is the design on this stuff is crazy. Man, I am, you know, like you said, I'm very intrigued after hearing them talk about it. It
Yeah,
really
because I mean, you
sounds
watch
like,
the trailer and you're just like, "Holy hell, am I dying?" You know?
yeah, like am I okay? Am I, you know? But you hear them talk about it. It kind of sounds like a bunch of like experts in this field just
Yeah.
got to make a game where it's like, what if we did this and had everything?
Yeah,
in
it starts to feel really like kind of thoughtfully put together. Whereas I watched the trailer and I'm like, this is a lot in one game,
Like,
guys.
what in the hell? What did you guys?
Can you do this?
You just threw everything in there. Is that allowed? You know. So,
Whereas now I can, and it makes sense. I mean, this is basically Persona here, and they've just really, really honed into what they're trying to do as well. On top of that, but hearing him talk about it and really flesh it out, you know, like I said, just intrigues me all the more. I think I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm like super excited about it yet. But I'm certainly much more excited than I was simply just watching the trailer. There is an element of excitement in me now, thanks to this dude talking about it.
yeah, it's if it just, you know, because I think the problem is that it just has the aesthetics of a game that's like slapped together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you see a trailer like
Well,
that, and it, you know, for any other game, it's like, you know, oh,
This
we're
is
doing
a mess.
you know, it's like it looks like a mess, and then you play it, and it's because it was like somebody just like shit out a bunch of ideas, and it's like a third-rate game, and you know, it's like shovelware. But like you hear these people talk about it, that like they seem like they know what they're doing, and it's almost you want to give it a shot because it's like okay, can you if you make that work? That's like that's crazy. That's crazy if you can make all these systems work. I do. You know, we will see how the election system works, you know, and the travel system.
He says loathsomely.
We'll see. We'll just see, because it's like that could be. It could be cheesy. It could be contrite. It could be like, you know, too basic of a system. It could just be like a cheap stand-in for like just a chapter progression in a story, or it could get like really dynamic. I would hope that between this and the travel system with the limited time, that when you play it, you're really seeing like multiple playthroughs that are possible, basically, of like totally different outcomes. I feel like this game would do the best if you can really like, you don't have to get like all the way Baldur's Gate 3 on me, but I'm saying like get like really like have some true possible outcomes that you can influence with your actions or your inactions or your failures at attempted actions, things like that. I think that's how that would like really, you know, if you can like have enough of a like at any given like point progression from like point like A to point B in the story, if you can have like a wide enough breadth of outcomes that you can influence, you know, before completing that progression in that part, I think that's like how this would win like really big for like a lot of, for me at least, because then it's like okay, that was like really cool, like I had to really think, that felt like that could have been anything, you know, as opposed to like, oh, you have the option to choose and it's like dialogue A, dialogue B, you know, prep for the dungeon or go right to the dungeon, you know, that kind of a thing. So but yeah, I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I'm just very curious to see how this plays out, because it in a way it feels so fresh and so all over the place that it's almost hard for me to evaluate. Like I have almost nothing similar to grasp onto, and yet I do at the same time. You know, I've played a lot of fantasy games, I've played these Persona games, but just seeing all this in the same space, all these systems overlapping, these weird crazy concepts and characters overlapping, I have no fucking clue how this is going to turn out, and it looks really intriguing. But I don't know. Is this game going to suck? Is it going to be or is it going to be fantastic? I feel like, you know, maybe it just lands somewhere in the middle. I really don't know. Other than him explaining to me all this stuff, I feel like I have very little to grasp onto. But it does look extremely intriguing, you know, and I hope the characters are awesome. I hope the story is intriguing and engaging and mysterious, you know, and I think he mentioned some of that. Because that's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting, you know, are the characters and just the day by day, moment by moment.
I can't get over the
and even overarching story.
This sword thing is I'm never gonna get over this.
Yeah, and again, that's another like you know, I admire the creativity, but there is a certain point where it's like they put literally everything in the game, and I don't see this coming together. But maybe it does. I don't know. I want it to come together. I'm not saying it's a mess, but I see the potential for it to be messy and maybe not come together. You know, I think a lot of people have been burned so badly by hype for different things over the years that it's hard to look at this and be like, oh my God, best game ever. Look at all the stuff they put in the game. I just kind of want to like wait and see if this comes together, if the story is interesting, if the gameplay works. Am I engaged and intrigued beginning to end? Am I going to want to play this again in a year? You know, so I don't know. It is super intriguing though, you know, and I feel like it has a lot of potential. The people behind the Persona games are brilliant, you know, and I want this to come together, and I you know, let's just wait and see, I guess.
Well, I think really at the end of the day, I think it's really going to come down to two things. Okay, Jesse.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, Joe.
Particular things. Okay.
What's the bit?
All right. Tony Hawk minigame with the sword. Okay. Like doing tricks, stunts, grinding on rails, time trials.
Anyone even know who Tony Hawk is anymore?
Skateboarding. You know, it's like a skateboarding stunt trick minigame with the swords, and some kind of metaphorical pod racing. We need like a pod racing game.
Oh, that would do it.
Racing of some sort.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. You know, because you've got these big guys. You got these big guys with the legs. Where are those? You got these like really big guys with the legs.
The gauntlet, yeah.
And
the gauntlet thing. I forgot.
It seems like you could have some smaller ones that are more built for speed or something like that. That you could.
I'll tell you what. I bet there is going to be a race.
There's got to be a race. I want a race. That's all I want is a race. Okay, it's really just one thing. The Tony Hawk was a bit, but a race. This is also a bit, but maybe not. Like a race. Okay, can we have a race of some sort with the with the machines with the boats with legs. I kind of want that, like small but like speedboats with like tiny legs. You know, that's what I think. If they have that, then 10 out of 10. If they don't have that, we're in the 7 to 9 range. I think that's where we're
Probably just a 7.
Yeah. So anyway, on that note, thank you so much for watching this. We went way long with this, but there was that was like way more dense than like we expected. So I think we was kind of justified tearing it apart there. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel and join us in the live chat on our live streams. We do JRPGs every weekend, basically, and we upload all kinds of shorts and videos and fun stuff like that. So, yeah, thanks again for watching. If you watched it all the way to the end, you are a real gaijin. I say that at the end of streams.
That
this
or
as
you're
long as a
asleep,
stream,
possibly.
or you're asleep. In which case, wake up. But
No, let them sleep, Jeff. goddammit.
well, wake up. You got to get back to work. You got to get lunch break's over. Okay. But yeah, on that note, we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Peace out.